And we are live.
Tried.
Yes, we're live. We're live on Let's Think Podcast. I'm your host, Sheik 7 Islam Male,
Sir.
and we're here. We're here. And first and foremost, allow me to rise, giving all thanks and perfect praises unto Allah, highest honors to his holy prophet, honors to his forerunner Marcus Mosiah Garvey, honors to the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine National Movement, honors to my leadership, Brother El Portisel, honors to his staff, honors to my brother and our guest,
Yes,
Sharif
sir.
Anael-Bey, Sharif Anael-Bey, that is,
Yes,
honors
sir.
to his staff, honors to all, and I mean all of you, each and every one of you will participate in the comprehensive program of uplifting fallen humanity, and I give honors to man, wherever you are, because when man honors man, he honors Allah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Peace.
I want to give praise to Allah, honors to the last prophet in these days, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to the forerunner, the honors Marcus Mosiah Garvey, honors to my leadership, Brother R. Jones Bay, Grand Sheikh and Moderator of the Moorish Science of America Incorporated, and his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bay, honors to Let's Think Podcast and the creator and the host, Sheik 7 Islam Ill,
Islam, brother.
honors to all the viewers, honors to all seekers after truth. Let's go, people. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey man, hey listen, man, this is gonna be a good one because man, shit, in so many ways, man, I have to say this.
Yes, sir.
That I don't think a lot of our brothers and sisters who are in possession of this pamphlet, which is the opening of the seven seals spoken of in Revelations.
Brother, that's actual fact right there, bro. What you just said, actual fact, but keep going.
Yes, sir. And I don't think ones truly know what they have.
Right.
And I have to say this. I feel as though the reason why is because they don't have any exposure or experience outside of this particular circle.
Correct.
So, and a lot of people say, brother, you're a Moorish American Muslim. Why are you talking about the Vedas? Why are you talking about, the Bible? Why are you talking about this book? It's because truth changes not, nor passes away.
That's right, brother.
So the truth is never lost in expression for those
who
know.
No, sir.
So no matter where I go, I take the lenses of my holy prophet.
Come on, brother.
Where I go.
Come on, that's right.
Whether I'm in your Sufi school, whether I'm in your Israelite school, whether I'm in whatever school that I'm in, I take the lenses of my holy prophet.
Yes, sir.
And one thing that has been so, I won't say confusing, but enigmatic.
Yes.
Is the difference between, or the differentiation between spirit and soul, because they're used so synonymously in theology.
Yes, they are, brother.
I'm talking about in Islam, in Christianity, and Judaism, wherever you want to go with it. They're used so synonymously that you cannot differentiate the line between the two.
Between the two, brother. Yeah, that's that. And again, and to your point, and to that point, make no mistake, the real study of these things has always been the purview of secret organizations. So it makes perfect sense that to the mundane public, things are kind of cloudy. As we would say, there's thunder. There's thunder in the craft. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it would it makes sense because that things would be obscured. Because as we'll see in this presentation, the real study of this is still the purview of secret organizations. It really is, and there's good reason. But as you put the revealing of the book that John the Revelator referred to symbolically as the book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. That speaks of in the 7th chapter, 10th verse.
Yes, sir.
The days when the 7th angel blows his trumpet, the mystery of God will be revealed.
7th angel.
That's a fact. See what I'm saying? So we're working to demonstrate the intelligence of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in this respect. We're working to demonstrate that what he brought and taught is the fulfillment of the former prophecies.
Most definitely.
See?
Without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
And before we get into the presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have our brother. Brother Jarvis McGriff.
Oh, Brother McGriff.
My co-host, Let's Think Podcast. Jarvis McGriff is in the building.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love, brothers. Peace and love.
Yes, sir.
How are y'all tonight?
We doing all right, man. We already building, getting to it, man. We just waiting on you to snap in, you know.
That's
How
right.
you? How you doing?
All is well. All is well. Another great day of toiling.
I see a smile behind the toil.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there
A
you
lot
go.
of smiles.
Yes,
Oh yeah, a lot of smiles, man.
Yes, sir.
Go.
A lot
We
of
happy
smiles.
when we toil.
Oh
We
yes.
We happy. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
Happiest when we toil.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
And we were just on the topic of these particular secrets being rooted in secret orderism, right?
Right.
And but see, when we get that, when people hear that, the profane hear that, they automatically go one way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Masons. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Really, when Masonry is not a secret organization.
It's not a secret organization.
With secrets.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a secret organization. So
Right.
But I always ask with that. I mean, what organization doesn't have
secrets?
Come on, brother. There you
Does
go.
it have a
Brother
secretary?
Griffith.
If it has a secretary, it got secrets.
Religious organizations have secrets. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I always hear people. What's in your bank account?
That's why I say every organization has a secretary, doesn't it?
Come on, brother.
Yes. What's in your account?
Yeah,
Right.
we don't let everybody in child financial reports. You know?
Sure don't.
Yeah, you know.
Sure don't, brother. That's a fact.
You know.
That is the truth.
So here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
Tonight we're dealing with the soul of man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And as we said, it's been so misconstrued, and the line between the two have been so blurred, especially along the lines of theology, right? Because you can hear many pastors, imams, etc.
Mm-hmm.
use these words interchangeably, but we know from the teachings of our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali that he gave specific characteristics to the soul.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which he said these are not its essence, it's just its actions.
Come on, brother.
So therefore, the soul is free to act.
Yes.
And if it's free to act, it's accountable for its actions.
Woo. Woo. It's accountable.
It's accountable. Yes, sir. It's accountable for its actions. So here today, what we are, which I know you're going to do beautiful, because I know how to pick. When it comes to me thinking about just how you demonstrate, brother, you be like, brother, I know. what he's gonna do with this topic. You know what I'm saying? I know, you know what type of justice, he'll do to this topic, because you speak about it so much indirectly in other presentations that I think one's missed it. Just this particular portion.
Yes.
And I also think that many of us in the Moorish Zion Temple of America, for Moorish America Muslims, have slightly missed the point of the actions of the soul being thinking, willing, reasoning, and understanding.
That's right, brother.
And they don't know how intimately that is intertwined with the mind.
Right.
So that's where we get to the soul of man and investigating the soul function.
Exactly.
Because now we got to look at, now we're going to get into how it works.
Right.
From a practical sense, and it might not be so practical to us.
Exactly.
But that's great. This is, and this will be a lesson, something for you to study. But I'm so excited about this presentation. Like I told you online, like, brother, I'm, hey. So without further ado, I'm finna shut up. Chat, if you have any questions, super chat your questions.
Absolutely.
Super chat your questions. I have placed Brother Sharif Anael-Bey's Cash App in the chat. If you choose to, I encourage you to support the brother and donate to the brother. Because he has taken his time to put in work to bring us this information. I do encourage you to support, period. Because when you support us, we can support you.
That's fact.
Yes, sir. So without further ado, brother, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. Let me see what I can do. Because, I'll be having a little technical difficulties, right?
Oh, no worries, bro.
So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. So, can you see this? You can see what I'm doing?
I see your Google page.
Okay, there you go. So you should be able to see when I do this.
All right.
Can you see that?
No, sir. No change.
No change?
No change.
Okay, so we got to go here. We go right back to drop that down. Go back here. And we'll stop sharing. Stop screen. Go back here. Excuse me, people.
No worries.
Yes. No, we're not in your computer. No, we're not gonna do that. So we go here.
All right. But anyway, while we're doing that,
Go ahead, bro.
While we're doing that, or while you pulling up the presentation, I wanted to touch real briefly on what we were just talking about regarding the study of the soul, right? Which we're going to, of course, get into fairly deeply on the presentation. And again, this represents where I am at this stage of my own personal development. That's it. It just represents, well, let me not say development, understanding, right? It's my present stage of understanding. As man unfolds, as God unfolds. I pray that this time next year, I'm much further along in understanding. See what I'm saying?
Yes,
if I'm saying the same things next year, that means I haven't grown much, if at all.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
This is very important to keep in mind. We're constantly, well, we should be constantly growing and elevating.
Do you see that?
I just see the Google page, brother.
Why can't you see the presentation? And this is weird. Going on here. Let's see. Let me take this off. Let's see. We're gonna try this again. Go ahead. Keep.
Yeah. No problem. And again, when we hear the word soul, especially those of us in the West, right off top, we start thinking about religion. And okay, what went up?
That's
the
not
Catholic.
That's not it.
Okay, gotcha.
That's not it. You know that was not it.
When we hear the word soul, we start thinking religion. And so for many of us that are quote unquote conscious already, we're turned off. Because now the word religion has become synonymous with pseudo or spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, unscientific. Right? Well, we're a religious organization. Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish movement is a religious movement. Right? But we think of religion very different. Our view of religion is old world, not new world.
What does that mean?
Glad you asked. So the present idea in the West, again, we grew up in that social structure. We grew up in that psychology. The Western idea of, there we go. Now we cooking, brother. The Western idea of psychology, that's perfect, bro. The Western idea the Western idea of religion is that it's secularized. It's made into a hobby. See that? Religion is something we do.
Made into a hobby.
Yeah, I go to church on Sundays. There's other church activities that I may get involved with during the week, but it's just what I do on those days, right? I go to mosque on Juma, or the masjid on Juma, right? I go to the synagogue on the Sabbath. It's become that's how in the West we think of religion. Whereas the old world, go ahead, brother.
A soul function thing.
Yes, brother. The old, right? Oh, come on, bro. There you go. The old world, right? The non-Western, non-Occidental, non-European idea of religion is culture, how you live. That's why we don't say our religion is Islam. Islam is the destination. Islamism is the path. That's all.
Islam is the state of condition. That's the state that we're striving. Because you know what? I wanted to say this to you, brother, because I just had a conversation with a brother, and he was of the Shiite Maghdad, right?
Yes.
And first and foremost, he had a problem with me saying Muslim. And and I went into the Arabia with him, and I broke down the consonants and showed him the trilateral rule of the word.
Right.
And so at that point, because he wanted to press upon me, a Muslim is a Muslim is one who submits his will to God. I say no, that's what a Muslim does, but what does Muslim mean? You know what I'm saying? We can't confuse the noun with the verb.
Ooh, come on, brother.
So, and he was, he was kind of confused at the point. And I told the brother, like, look at the word.
Yes.
Islam simply means peace.
There you go.
Matter of fact, let me take the proper. It literally
means peace. Thank you, brother.
What it means. So, literally, Muslim and Muslim means one of peace.
That's what it means.
Peace is the state, condition, or destination that we're striving to reach.
Right.
Which is also called that state of mind we know as what? Heaven.
Heaven.
So, if that's the state and or condition that we're striving to reach.
Yes.
Through our action of submitting to the will, submitting our will to a greater will, because our individual wills, even if we have one,
Right.
Most of the time, it's just obsolete.
That's right.
Once we get ourselves to the point where we are able to submit this fragile will that we really think is a will, these desires and these wishes,
Yes.
when we submit that to the will, submit your wishes and your desires to the will, then we can get somewhere. Then we can, begin to ascend and get to that state of spirit blessedness. You know what I'm saying?
Right, brother.
So that's what I had to explain to this brother. And this is where a lot of the Islamic world tends to, differ with our expression of the Islamic creed.
Well, first of all, you said that perfectly, brother. There's a big difference in what is and what people have come to believe.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
So when people have come to accept that the word Muslim or Muslim means one who submits his will to the will of Allah. No,
Yes,
brother, you hit it right on the nose. That's what a Muslim or Muslim does.
Yes, sir.
Right? The word Muslim or Muslim does not mean one who submits. Submission is part of the process in being a Muslim or a Muslim.
Yes, sir.
The word Muslim, just like the word Salam, just like the word Islam, comes from the root word of 3 letters, Sin, Lam, and Mim. Those 3 letters. That 3-letter root, the Arabic language, as you already know,
yes, sir,
right, is centered around 3-letter root words and 4-letter root words. See? The root word Sim, Lam, Mim, SLM, implies oneness, completeness, wholeness.
A mathematical piece.
Yes, brother, a mathematical piece. One. So the statement where Allah, through the angel Jabrail, says to Prophet Muhammad, Qul huwallahu ahad.
Allah is samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad.
Kufuwan ahad, right? So in other words, it doesn't say Allah is one God. Allah is one. One. It affirms the unity. Jesus said that to Lamas, right? That heaven, earth, and hell are not above, around, or below, but in the light of Allah, right, becomes the naught, and Allah is all. See? So the root word Sim La Mim means oneness, wholeness, completeness. A Muslim is one who seeks the unity. One who seeks the resolution of opposites.
Tasawwuf.
Yes, Tasawwuf. There you go. That's what it is. It's Tawheed, right?
Tawheed, yes, sir.
Yeah, oneness.
Yes, sir.
So we want to strive to think that way. And on a very simple level, here it is, people. If I'm looking at my brother McGriff ill, I got a black fez on, he got a red fez on. Oh, we beefing because mine is black and his is red. I'm not being a Muslim. I'm not seeking the unity. But if I go, yeah, his is red, mine's black, but they're both fezzes.
And I ain't got one on.
Right. He don't even got one, but that's okay. He says he's a Muslim. I'm a Muslim too. See, you seek the unity, not the differences. When you harp on differences, you're no longer being a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me hold on. Let me put that one. Let me put this in there. Just because I ain't got no feds on don't mean I ain't no more American Muslim.
Straight like that, bro.
Don't get the trip. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Don't get the tripping out.
That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get the tripping out there.
See?
I go get them. I got they right here. Right there.
That's right. That's right, brother. That is correct.
Yes, sir.
See? All right. So, where are we? Yep. The soul of man and the journey to true knowledge of self.
Beloved.
Where we're going, people.
Explain the graphics, bro. This one. Graphics. Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, before brother, they're explained. Let's just get into it because they're explained. I get into it. All right, next slide.
Let's go.
All right. The origin of Western psychology. Hold on, wait. Why are we talking about psychology? Because we're about to unspookify your idea of soul. That's why. That's why, people. See, our host already started the process when he quoted the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing. Call these not the soul. They are its actions. They are not its essence. So what Western science deals with thought, psychology, people. You had no idea that psychology is a science of the soul.
Psych means soul.
See that?
You got a question already. Hold on.
Go ahead.
We got brother Tariq. $5 for the super chat. I appreciate you. But he has a question that follows that.
Go ahead. What's the question?
Yeah, I think it said, Brother Sharif, can you do a presentation on how we are ancient Canaanites,
Phoenicians, Carthaginians, aka Sephardic Jews? Why not?
Why not? We got that
I definitely do a presentation on that.
And guess what, brother? When we do the presentation, be in the chat because it's dedicated to you.
There you go.
Yes,
there you go.
Go ahead,
continue. The Sephardim. Now let's be now follow me. I like you see, I saw how he put all that in, those names, for instance, Phoenicians and Carthaginians, same people.
Yes.
Same people, just a different name for a slightly different time period, but it's the exact same people. Right? Now the Sephardim is a little more specific. We have to be very, very clear with our language and our understanding. Okay, I'm not saying we're not Sephardim or some of us are not Sephardim. Follow me. When we say the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, "What is your nationality?" He didn't say, "What is your ethnicity?" See? Because remember, nationality is not the end; it's a means to the end. What is the end? The uniting of the Asiatic nation in the states of North America. And then that uniting becomes a uniting with Asia. That is the purpose. Just like German Americans are united in American society.
So that would that give us? You remember on the Nation of Islam paper when they had the two brothers leaning across the globe, grabbing hands like that,
and it says Asia on the planet.
Yes.
Muhammad Speaks newspaper back in the day.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
That's it, brother. So Sephardim is so follow me. Nationality is inclusive of tribalism, inclusive of ethnic groups.
So no matter what the tribe, no matter what the ethnic group.
So nationality can accept without them losing their individual tribal or ethnic identity. The Prophet was a genius. So it's not either or, it's both and.
Both and.
See?
Just like I can say I'm both of African descent and Native American descent.
And ain't no conflict.
See,
we're trained to think wrong. Our thoughts are wrong. To us, because we were trained under the European psychology, it's either or. So now we separate and categorize, and we're no longer thinking like Muslims.
And if you want to blur the lines, how you gonna blur them?
Right.
You can't blur them.
Right. See, the Sephardim, let's talk about it historically. The Sephardim, right? The Sephardim, especially in the time period in question, right, were called Sephardim in Europe, in Spain, during when? During the time when an African Islamic power was the socio-political overshadow. For how long? Nearly 800 years. So culturally, Socioculturally, they were Sephardim. Sociopolitically, they were Moors. And there was no conflict. See, that was understood in that time period.
That's why some Moorish people in history are known as Sephardian Jews.
There you go. There you go. This is also why you find more. It's easier. Let me say it that way. It's easier to find more history or research on the Jewish expulsion from Spain.
Yeah, because you know what side they want to hide.
And who many of them hijacked in terms of identity.
That part. That part. That part. That part. And before we get into back into the key points.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to us, right? What and I think this question I'm about to ask, everybody in the chat will be like, I already know this. But I just want to hear you explain it.
Sure.
What was the significance and the importance of the hijacking?
Of the who?
The hijacking.
Oh, come on, man.
Because see, you have ones who will break it down from a historical standpoint.
Oof.
Then you have those who will break it down from a emotional standpoint.
Yes.
And then you have those who are really knowing and can break it down from a conscious, subconscious, and spiritual standpoint.
We're talking about, what are we talking about here is white supremacy. White supremacy is a thought, people. Don't personalize it. Let's start with that. It's very easy to personalize. Why? Because we're so conditioned in the state of fallen humanity to make everything solid and tangible. And we use that as the criteria for it being real. That means we're just chasing shadows.
Yes, sir.
That just means we wait for a racist act to happen so we can protest and point at it. And then what do? Wait for another racist act to happen. Instead of attacking it at the root. The root is that it's a thought. And we have to first banish it and kill it in ourselves. So white supremacy is a thought, people. But for the thought to gain power, it has to rest in the minds of a sufficient amount of people. And there has to be room for that thought by eradicating the previous pervading worldview, the previous thought. You have to kill that thought. Where do we find this symbolically spoken of? In the Bible, in Genesis, with the story of Esau and Jacob. Esau was the what? What was he? He was the firstborn. Therefore, he was entitled to the birthright and the blessing from his father. But Esau was a little too carnal. His brother Jacob, younger brother, who wanted the birthright and the blessing, but wasn't entitled to it, tricked Esau out of it by what? Catering to his carnal self. So what did Esau do? Jacob didn't beat him out of his birthright.
He gave it up.
Esau gave it up.
So here we go.
For to do what? Gratify his lower self.
And doesn't the Quran of Mecca say that when one nation does not submit and sin and
disobedience,
give it up, Allah would give this blessing to another nation?
There you go.
There you go.
Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery.
There you go.
So the symbolism in the story of Esau and Jacob and their father is what? A mythos. And now mythos is what? Archetype. And we're right back to what? Psychology. So we can see that pattern throughout the ages. And when you understand the pattern, you can see it, and then you can predict outcomes.
And I want to go right back to this point. Elijah Muhammad said that Jesus and Mary was a sign.
A sign. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yes,
We have to be able to see these things as primordial imprints deep in the psyche of man himself.
yes, sir.
That is why they have so much power over so many people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
now we're talking real soul work from a scientific perspective. And we have not deviated from religion.
Not one time.
As you said earlier, dear brother Sheik 7, nobody has a monopoly on truth.
No.
Truth is one. See?
Reconciliation of differences.
There you come on, brother. And that's what we're about. That's what we're doing right now.
Yes.
Reconciling the opposites between so-called religion and so-called science. Because if they both have truth and they both disagree, then neither one of them is true.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't.
Right.
They don't. They don't.
You know that?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. René Descartes lived from 1595 to 1650. French philosopher and mathematician, known for the phrase cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. His whole, in other words, the idea of Western psychology, the origin of Western psychology was a search for proof of the human soul.
What?
Yes.
The origin of Western psychology.
Yes.
Search for proof of the
Of
human.
the humans? Yes.
But the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that's one of the most plainest things that we know.
Notice I said the origin of Western psychology. Remember, the Euro-Western world is the champion of the idea of if I cannot detect it with my five senses, it doesn't exist.
How limited is that?
Let's test it right now. We've done this experiment before. Let's do it again real quick. I want all the viewers to say out loud, repeat after me, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go.
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Okay, my senses can detect that. There was a sound that came out of my mouth. I made a sound, my ears heard it, processed it in my brain. Boom. Now, I want you to say it to yourself in your head. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go. Here's my first question. Did you hear yourself? Take your time with the answer, by the way.
Well, I didn't hear myself, but I did hear myself.
How about that?
Right.
That is why the prophet said it's one of the most plainest things, people.
Yeah, it's plain.
Because your senses were not involved in that reality, were they?
Not at all.
There was no sound to hear.
Not at all.
Well, here's the second question. Who was talking and who was listening? Think about it.
Simultaneously.
Come on. See how easy that was to prove?
Yeah.
The Western world removed human consciousness as a means of scientific observation and measurement.
Peace and Wellness Daily.
It removed it.
In
other words, like what they call Occam's razor in science, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the observer affects the experiment. Therefore, you cannot involve the observer in the experiment. What? You see?
The observer always got to be a part of the experiment.
So, brother, or else you are locked. You are landlocked. In other words, you're locked on the plane of things made manifest. You're locked there. You can't go any further. But wasn't that the purpose of the European psychology?
To lock you into 3 dimensions.
You know why we say this is the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies? The mere fact that quantum mechanics exists is proof of that. Because quantum mechanics has forced the Western world to go beyond 5 senses. It has forced the Western world to accept that human consciousness is what they call the quantum operator. Forced. This is the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. See? All right, let's continue because we could, man, each one of these slides, we could be here forever.
I.e. disclosure.
Yes, brother, exactly. Straight like that. Disclosure. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Carl Jung. Everybody should really study Carl Jung. No, don't go to the next slide. Don't go to the next slide. Don't go to the next slide. All right.
Remember.
Carl Jung, Swiss psychologist and psychiatrist. His studies on collective unconscious led him to the creation of archetypal psychology. Well, what is archetypal psychology, people? The study of the universal symbols and patterns that shape human thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Wow. Wow. Let's say it again. The study of the universal symbols and patterns, universal symbols and patterns that shape human thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Do you know what one of the main universal symbols and patterns is in the human psyche?
Jesus.
Brother, you just cut right to the chase. Yep. In other words, the desire to know what happens after physical death.
I didn't mean to cut straight.
And that is why the story of Jesus is so powerful. Because it impacts humanity at the deepest levels of the human psyche. And that is why the Western world had to hijack the story of Jesus and then chop and screw it to rule the world for the first time in history.
Because they could have used anybody. They used him.
See?
Life, death, and resurrection.
There you go, brother. There you go. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing, call these not the soul, they're its actions, they're not its essence. That's in the chapter on the soul of man, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Put in our hands by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. In other words, that statement is what? A scientific description of the functions of the soul.
Chemistry of life.
So the mystery of death, the ministry of death, and the mystery of deific life. Brother, you already know what we're dealing with right now. For certain people in a certain organization, we call it Blue Lodge.
Yes, sir. Yeah. From the ground floor.
That's right. That's right. And why? Because what are we talking about? We're talking about the tripartite makeup of man himself.
Yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing.
And
that's what we're doing.
Whoa.
Next slide.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Oh, this is the one he said don't go there.
Yeah, you're gonna like this slide. You already know why.
Yes, sir.
You already know why.
And he gave me the alchemical symbols. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man is a microcosmic triune.
Yes, sir. That's a fact.
See?
Can't tell me it's not.
That in and of itself explains the existence of or the function of Blue Lodge, and it also explains why all real initiatory bodies have 3 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
3 degrees.
3 degrees.
3 heavens.
And you got 3 degrees of your life.
Sure do, brother. Come on, you already know. That's that mystery of the Sphinx, ain't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the riddle of the Sphinx, isn't it?
Yeah, you got 3 degrees of your life. You know what I mean? Yes, sir.
There you go.
And praise be to Allah for those who approach it at third phase.
That's right, brother.
Yeah.
So let's look at spirit again. We're gonna narrow in on soul, but right now we want to paint the broader picture for everyone to see. Spirit, aspects or characteristics of spirit.
Non-locality.
Non-locality. Allah is what? Almighty, eternal,
and
incomprehensible. What do we mean by incomprehensible? Beyond the scope of your five senses. That's what we mean. But remember, man is not the body of the soul. Man is what?
Spirit.
That means man himself.
It's non-local.
Thank you, brother.
I
Man in his essence is one with God.
I feel that in my prayers.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
See?
It's like a cool feeling.
Isn't it something?
Yeah.
So
like a cool feeling.
Consciousness is not the same as thought.
Oh no, because consciousness can observe the thought.
He would see. That's why I love my brother, man. See that? You
know
what that was?
Sorry, man.
That was the WWE paired wrestling and the tag team off the turnbuckle. That's what that was. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. That's a fact. Like, think about what you just said, brother. Right? Think about what you just said. When we did the little exercise and I asked the question, who's speaking and who's listening? See? Wisdom speaks from where?
The highest plane of spirit life.
How about that? Thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing are soul functions. So that is how I can observe my own anger. I can observe my own happiness. I can observe my own. You see it now?
Bro, that was that. Bro, I don't know how. Bro, that just hit me different.
See,
and it shows you that you have power over it,
which means you now have. What did you say earlier? Right? It can act of its own accord. Therefore, what?
It's accountable for its own actions. Whoa.
Remember what our prophet taught us by way of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Symbol of America? The sin lies in the wish and the desire, not the act.
Which is the true meaning of Khalifa.
Come on, brother. That's right. See that? Now let's take it a step further. Soul is, we're gonna, man, listen, wait till soul is now we're talking locality.
Ooh.
Now, of course, now that sounds, wait a minute, how do you go from non-local to local? What's the process? We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Right? But now you have thought. How, see, just the fact that you have thought now and you have mind, and mind does what? Thinks, reasons, wills. See? Okay. Now you have primordial duality. You have the thinker and the thing thought about. So now we have motion, which creates time. And what? Space. You have subject and object. Primordial duality now. What does it say? So Allah, the husband of everything there is, cast forth his human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace. And man became a living soul. That is mind, which is man.
Our thoughts are not his thoughts.
See that? See? What are we talking about here, people? The process of the construction of that which thinks in man. We are scientifically analyzing ourselves using religious terminology. See? That's what we're doing. Now, where does all this take place and crystallize? Inside the plane of things made manifest. Now we're talking flesh. We're talking 3 dimensions, crystallization and physicality. We are not physical. We're having a physical experience.
Brother, a lot of people say, I'm not human, I'm having a human experience, right?
Right.
But I know what it's called, the human seed.
Come on, brother. We are human. We just think human means flesh.
And human doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't. It existed before the flesh came into being.
How about that, brother? That's a fact.
What do we, and think about it, when the prophet uses the word humanity. In the places that he uses the word humanity.
There you go.
See, our humanity extends far beyond the plane of things made manifest. And that's one reason why we had a lot of people in this in this material world who is fixated with the material world have no regards for human life.
No regards, brother.
They don't even know what humanity is.
Don't know what, bro, that's right. That's right. You, brother, just the fact that you made that statement and we're part of the prophet's movement. You see how heavy our sleeves just got with responsibility? Look what we got to give back to the world. Ain't that crazy? All right, next slide, brother.
Boy, this right here. Ooh. Oh, here we go. That's how we go.
Remember, let's stay within the. I want to preface this with this. We're talking about the soul of man and the study of the human soul, right? But let's not go back to being spooked out.
Yeah.
Thought happens on another plane, people. Thought doesn't happen on the physical plane. Let me repeat it.
I think that exercise just showed us that.
Yes. Thought happens on another plane.
Because if it did, we'd have heard the thought.
There you go.
Audibly.
It would be within the realm and purview and perception of the 5 physical senses. So somehow you could, quote unquote, hear. See, even your language begins to break down. Because what did you hear? What sound was made? Right. You can't even tell me what the voice sounded like.
You can't. Only thing you can say, if anything, you can say it sounded like you.
Right.
That's the only reference you got. Is that?
And me talking to me about me.
Right.
That's how you know it ain't no duality on that realm.
How about in yonder kingdom of the soul, this carnal nature is not known. Ain't that what our prophet taught us?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go into it. So what are we talking about here? So in other words, we come to Allah through ceremonies and forms. In other words, we can analyze the thing by the actions of the thing. So
and that's what Elijah Muhammad said. Well, I can't contribute this to Elijah Muhammad. I can paraphrase.
Yes.
When we can look at the known to see the unknown.
You start from the known to go to the unknown. There you go. See that? So, in other words, if we want to know the soul, we need to start to analyze what? Thought.
Thought, yeah.
And the prophet said, if I can get you to
think,
you can save yourself. All right, let's look at it. The identity principle of addition. In short, it means the adding of 0 to any number will result in the same number. So we were talking about the whole triune thing. How can man be triune when I'm a single individual? 1 + 1 = 3. See, now the heart and the mind are at variance. The intellect and the intuition are fighting. Because we know 1 does not equal 3. Or we know 1 doesn't equal 3. Right? at least from this idea, from the identity principle of addition.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have a conflict.
Second.
Like our brothers and sisters that practice Christianity, they say, well, that they'll say that the Holy Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost, but they'll say all three of these are separate persons of God, but God is one. Now you've got our brothers that practice Islam, but they don't have the old time narrative. They don't have the old time religion. See? They'll say, no, you all are wrong. It's just one, and that's it. They're both
arithmetic.
They're both thinking from the principle of the identity principle of addition.
Arithmetic.
This is lineal or monochronic thinking, which is subject to singular dimensional thought.
Is this what I meant when a wise brother told me mathematics ain't arithmetic? Arithmetic is just a form of mathematics.
There you go. That's right. Now, let's look at this. The identity principle of multiplication. Multiplying one to any number will result in the same number. So now let's look at that. 1 times 1 times 1 equals what?
1.
Now the heart and mind are no longer at variance. It makes sense to the intuition and it makes sense to the intellect. Why? Because this is cyclical thinking or polychronic thinking. It allows for the observance of the interaction of what? Multiple dimensions. See?
Yeah. Soul plane, spirit plane, and plane of things made.
But soul is in between non-locality and physicality.
The boundaries.
The big mystery is, how do you contain the uncontainable?
Yeah, that's a big mystery. For sure.
So, and that is that question, that mysterious question sums up the value of the human soul. Because it's the human soul that provides the means
to contain
for Allah to be present in his own creation.
Yes,
this
sir.
is you already know, you brothers already know, this is our religious teaching. We teach this every week.
Yes, sir.
But this is what is kept secret behind closed doors of other organizations.
Yes, sir. And then we start talking about the boundaries.
Oh, well, we're going to get to that.
Ooh.
We're going to definitely get to that. The boundaries.
We're going there?
Where these essences took on a final guard, right?
Yeah,
so
okay.
It says, and in this slower rhythm, the essences of life are manifest. What do we mean by essences? The patterns, the archetype. Brother, I'll use some other language. The drawing on the trestle board. There you go.
Yes, sir. Thought forms.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
In other words, the pattern, right, of life. The pattern of life. Oh, my goodness. There was another slide I was supposed to make, and I didn't make it. I'll talk about it. No worries. Next slide.
We'll talk. Woo. This slide right here just made me think as soon as I seen it.
Here we go. Soul is what? The first differentiation between man and the divine. Okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Before you can go? I'm looking at this slide, right?
Yes.
And I see this. What this figure looked like is like shining, like it's shining like the sun, right?
Yes.
And you know the sun is also called soul.
Yes.
So I was just gonna, that's
you were thinking what I was thinking when I saw the graphic, bro.
Yes, sir.
So, man, what do we mean by the first differentiation? All right, follow me. In our teaching, in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America, that was given to us by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we're taught that there was a seed that came forth from the heart of Allah. And that seed, which is man, spirit man, contained everything that makes Allah, Allah.
Mhm.
The potencies of, right, everything that makes Allah, Allah. All of Allah's attributes are in that seed.
That's
But
what
it's still a
makes.
seed.
That's what makes man and Allah one.
Come on, brother. There you go. But that seed has to unfold. So unfolding takes what, people? What one word? Unfolding takes what? Time.
Are
And
you know
time
right?
is a function of manifestation.
Hey, yo, brother, I would have never thought of that word right then and there.
Me either.
As much as I should have thought of that word, see, that's how secret it is.
That's how secret it is, brother. And that's also how far away we've been pulled from the thinking and the state of mind of our forefathers. See? That's how far. So, man is mind. In other words, man became a living soul. So when man became self-aware, okay? Man is mind. That means man is man's first emergence within Allah's creation. Within Allah's creation was on the plane of soul, people. The plane of soul is where man gains self-awareness and self-consciousness. That's what it meant by and it grew apace. It grew apace, and man became a living soul. And he became Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. See? Consciousness, self-consciousness is congruent with what? Locality. I am me. I am. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
This is the origin of the development of the ego. The ego is not bad. Ego's only bad when it's not doing its proper job.
It remains perfect.
Even in the bosom of a fool. Ego is what allows me to say, Brother Jarvis McGriff Ill's fez is red and his hoodie is green. The purpose of the ego is to go out into the outer world or to gather information from the outer experience and bring it to the self. But what happens I'll just use it on a mundane level, we become so enamored with the outside world that we believe we are our experiences. So the mask gets stuck to the face.
The mask gets stuck to the what?
The ego is a tool for the higher self. We begin to believe we're the ego. There you go. So we don't subdue it and make it do its job. We go to sleep in the office and let it run the plant.
Oh, man.
That's what happens. Next slide.
Whoa.
Now, this is a good question. It's going to stretch people's consciousness, which is what we're supposed to do.
Let's go. Donate to the channel.
Matter of fact, I want to hear from the audience on this one.
Okay.
Is the soul inside the body or outside the body?
Chat. Go ahead and drop your answers.
Yeah.
Drop your answers. Is the soul inside or outside the body? We have Rico Suave. He says both.
He's cheating. Shout out to Rico Suave, aka Project Baby Enterprises, aka Brother C. Narain Hill. He's cheating. He's a member of my temple, so he already knew the answer.
Dr. Hope Owens, LPhD, says both.
Praise Allah.
Come on, we ain't got no more answers. Let's go. And don't hide your initial answer.
Right.
Give us your initial answer. The first thought that came to your head. Let's get that one. Let's not cheat. Yeah.
People
See,
on the other
the way
side
we think
waiting.
about it, because again, our fallen state, we think a particular way. So we think like, okay, I have my body, but inside my body is my soul. And inside there is my spirit somewhere. Nah.
That ain't how it go.
Because we think why we think that way? Because we start with the body, believing that the body is the proof, when the body's a result, it's not the cause.
Man, that's
So it's
that's
not
why
my body has a soul and a spirit. It's my spirit has a soul and my soul has a body.
Tariq says inside the penal. Then we have, oh man, they're coming in now.
Mhm.
Then it says JP said it's both. And Blackistan TV says Amani. I don't know what it is.
Right. Maybe he'll explain it. But again, remember, we have to start with what's known, right? And go from known to unknown. The flesh is temporary, people.
Mhm.
Man, awareness daily, a man's soul transcends the body, existing both within and beyond physical form.
There you go, brother. In other words, listen close. Let me use this phraseology. Your physical body is swimming inside your soul.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, hold on. Now, wait. Wait. Run it back.
Your physical body. Here, let's take ourselves there. Let's do a little quick meditation. Let's just imagine for a second. Everybody close their eyes. Imagine that you're some type of aquatic being, like a fish, but not quite. But you're an aquatic being and you live in a medium like water. So imagine yourself in that water. It's all around you. But listen close. That water has, forget it. Let's just go with the water, right? But now that same water is the very thing that makes your heart beat, your lungs pump, and your organs operate, and your nerves to operate. So that very thing that causes synapses in your brain is the very stuff that's floating around your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean about your consciousness? It exists where? Inside the body. And if you're aware of the fact that the very thing that gives you consciousness is also outside of the body, where can your consciousness also be?
Anywhere, everywhere.
That is why you can think about your grandma and 5 seconds later the phone rings.
Mm-hmm.
And grandma picks up and says, "Oh, I was just thinking about you. I wonder why."
And while you use water as an analogy, we're still in water right now.
Yes, we are.
Water is all around us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a physical, and I'm only gonna just say this and I'm gonna let it go. There's a physical water and then there's an alchemical water.
Yes, sir. That's
all right.
a fact.
Leave that there.
And you know, yeah, we're gonna leave that there. Yeah. That would be a good idea for this one. Yes,
but see, just the contemplation and discussion of this question pops you out of your flesh, doesn't it?
It just did.
A conversation. Yes, a conversation about this is a small initiation all by itself.
Soul is information powering the body, streaming in from the spirit.
Could be.
Tariq says, it says, okay, awareness data says, can the soul be both local and non-local?
The answer is yes.
Anchored to the body while simultaneously transcending it like a flame that exists
Absolutely.
within earth, yet illuminates far beyond its source.
Absolutely. But here's what's so crazy about what, first of all, I give honor to what Awareness Daily just said. I agree. But here's what's crazy. Think about it. As grandiose as that description is, and it's true, soul is still a manifest. It's still temporary.
Yay, from a finite point of view.
The time will come when it will be no more. See that? As great as that is, you're greater than that.
Whoa, that.
See, the science of epigenetics gives solid proof to this fact that memory, the fact that memory is and can be genetic, tells you everything. Y'all heard what I just said?
Yes, that being that memory can be genetic tells you everything.
See? That means memory, which we know is a soul function.
Right.
Memory is a soul function, right? How do we know this in our teaching? Chapter 7, when Jesus asked Barak to Rabo, do you remember ever being ape or bird or worm? See? Memory is a soul function. Memory is prenatal and post-mortem, meaning you bring memory with you in this incarnation, and it survives after you leave it.
But can you save that form?
Okay, see, now we're going to get to that. Next slide. We're going to get to that. All right. The majority of supersensual or extrasensory phenomena occurs in the regions of the soul plane. Yeah. In other words, in the realm of thought, people.
Tell us about, explain supersensual and extrasensory.
In other words, you've already experienced it. Everybody who participated in that exercise earlier already experienced it. You have all the proof you need of the extrasensory or supersensual. In other words, the perception of things that does not involve your five senses. See, y'all have already drunk the Kool-Aid.
I'm gonna tell you what, they drunk the Kool-Aid when they went to work the other day, and they walked in the room, they walked in the job, and they felt like it's gonna be a messed up day. I feel it. Everybody just tweaking in here, and you ain't heard nobody say a word. You just felt the energy like this ain't right.
And what happened? Exactly
it just wasn't right. It just wasn't right.
Exactly what you thought. Right. But notice what I said? Exactly what you
thought.
What you thought it was gonna be.
There you go.
It willed itself.
And guess what? You can change that perception as well.
Because you can change your thought. But that's a level of responsibility most people don't want.
Accountability. Accountable for his acts.
Right. See? Within flesh of man, soul and spirit are conjoined.
It made me laugh. Oh, man.
So flesh is the container. Flesh is not you, it's the container.
Oh, man.
The soul plane and the soul body are the interface between the divine and the mundane.
Spirit and the carnal.
Therefore, soul, come on, brother, you belong to a particular august body that uses the trowel.
You cement. Yes.
And we call that cement lime.
Yes.
Therefore, the soul is the line that unites.
You know what? I feel bad because I'm tickling because I don't think nobody know what I'm tickling about. But, you know, and Jarvis is tickled about it. We all tickled about the same thing. Bro. Oh, man. And that's a soul function. That's a soul function, too, if you didn't know.
Right. So,
wow.
Let's take the readers, or not the readers, I'm sorry. Let's take the viewers through some of the prophet's teaching. But we're going to use the teaching. We're going to speak to the teaching, but we want them to take a look at this diagram on the right. If you're familiar with those that are not familiar with the diagram, what is it? It is the Kabbalistic tree of life.
Awareness Daily. You know Awareness Daily got something for you, right?
Oh, what do you say? Tell me.
Bro, how does the tree of life become 3D?
he would.
Yeah. You know, you gotta always do it.
He would go there. I actually have a graphic of a 3D tree of life, but I ain't gonna put it up. But anyway,
I look at yourself.
Come on, brother. That's right. Now, we're going to work with chapter 11 and chapter 1 of the Holy Crown of the Moorish Science Symbol of America. And again, I want to do this really for the benefit of the audience and the people who are not students of Prophet Noble Drew Ali per se, right?
Rico Suave, where I can tell he one of your students.
Hey, you see how I leaned in and got closer to read what he was saying?
He going in the chat. Rico Suave. Yo, brother Muslim, slow down on him, bro. You killing him.
So, in chapter 11 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Symbol of America, Jesus then begins to speak to Barata Arabo and those around him about the mechanics of manifestation. He says, from Allah's own record book we read. First of all, hold on. Before we even go any further, let's look at the diagram. So the diagram has 4 different differentiations.
Yes, sir.
All right. 4. Okay. Bria and Yetzirah, we can actually say are the same. They're 2 parts of the same thing.
That's right. I knew you. You know what? That's why I knew one. Not necessarily one could be negated, right? But one could necessarily, blend or cipher.
Yes. And we're going to explain why in a second. Here we go. From Allah's own record book, we read the Triune Allah. Stop right there. Let's look at let's look at the spirit plane. What do you see at the spirit plane?
That is
3 circles, 3 Sephiroth. That's what they're called.
They're also called the arc. Some people.
Yeah, come on, bro. Right. Right. So you see those 3. Why 3? And I'm just going to get brief with it because Allah is one. But inside the oneness, there are, remember we talked about the identity principle of multiplication? The
one.
Inside the one is wisdom, will, and love. And why do we make the differentiation with triune? Because, listen close. Triune Allah is the close, shout out to Brother the assistant grand governor for the state of Maryland. Brother L. Stewart Bay, who shared this portion of his understanding with me. The triune Allah is the closest that the universal Allah can come to human perception. That's why we could say wisdom, will, and love. But hold on. That wisdom, will, and love is also what we would call creative, or the origin of creative fiat or creative fate.
You do know that's what Raphael the Moore is in the chat saying right now.
Praise the Lord. Hold on.
That's why I started laughing more.
Hold on. Watch this.
And I'm not judging you, Raphael. We're not judging you, bro. We know you late, like
Watch
you
this.
always do.
If you study psychology, we have what's called the id, the ego and the id.
Yes, sir.
What we're looking at with creative fate or creative fiat of the Triune law is what we would call the transcendental id. If you could think about it, what comes before the act of fecundity or the act of procreation? Lust. So we're looking at divine lust, the will of Allah to make himself known in his creation.
Boom.
Bro, that might not. That was like,
see?
I still ain't got my bombs yet.
That's what we're looking at. So it says, from Allah's own record book, we read the Triune Allah breathed forth and stood 7. How many circles are below the 3? People count them.
1, 2, 3.
Below the 3.
Below the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ha!
The 7 Elohim.
From Allah's own record book, we read the Triune Allah breathed forth and 7 spirits stood before his face. The Hebrews call these spirits what?
The 7 Elohim.
There you go.
We call them the 7 creative.
Everything above, right? Everything above those 7, in other words, where the 3 are at the top, is is the highest level of suprasensory, because in that realm, time and space do not exist.
Super sensual.
Everything below it is where they do at various differing levels.
Extra sensory.
The bottom Sephiroth is the one of physicality. The Hebrews call that one Malkut. All right.
At the very bottom?
I'm sorry, say it again.
That's the one at the very bottom?
At the very bottom. Now, right, now, it says,
where in his daddy says shop.
And these are they who in their boundless, see, now, okay. So we know that this map, because that's what it is, the tree of life is a macrocosmic and microcosmic map. Because the universe is a macrocosmic man, and man is a microcosmic universe. So yes, we can map this macrocosmic model onto the human frame. Yes, we can. All right. These spirits of the Triune Allah moves on the face of boundless space, and 7 ethers were each one of these circles is one of those ethers. And every ether had its form of life. You caught that?
Yes, sir. Had its form.
So what do we say? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين,
the Lord of all the world.
All 7 of them. The 7 heavens that Prophet Muhammad ascended on the night of power.
It meant a prophet at each level.
All right. Y'all see what we're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's turn to chapter 1. So if you look at the middle,
hey Mo,
you saw what I did there, right?
Hey Mo,
you saw what I did there, right?
I've been reading my notes the whole time as you've been going.
Saw what I did there. The middle pillar, right?
Yes. Yes.
You got Keter at the top. You got Tifereth, which is number 6, in the middle, where the heart is. You got Yesod, which is at the borderland of the plane of soul, number 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Malkuth at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The straight and narrow path.
Remember what you said about the borderland of the plane of soul?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Oh, first, before let's go to Tiferet, on the middle pillar of the center.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go there. Right? It grew apace. We're in chapter 1, and man became a living. So Kether, the top one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allah, the husband of all everything there is, cast forth the human seed. Where? Into number 6.
Yeah.
It grew apace.
Mm-hmm.
And man, what?
Became
a living soul and became Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. You rule from the center. Look where it is. Center of the plane of soul. Hold on. It gets better. Tiferet. What, according to the Kabbalists, is the alchemical color for Tiferet? Green. Do you know what the alchemical symbol is? Geometric symbol is? Pentagram. You know what the alchemical day for Tiferet is?
Friday.
You know what the alchemical planet is? Venus.
Venus. Did we have a class on this before? McGriff, did we have a class on this before?
All right.
I got pictures teaching that lesson, bro.
Ain't that something, brother?
And I ain't take it that far.
Now, hold on. Follow me. I'm going to read the prophet's words, or what he gave us, right? Upon the boundary of the plane of soul. Well, which one of these Sephiroth is closest to the lower boundary? Number 9, Yesod.
Mm-hmm.
Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essences took on a final garb. The perfumes and odors and true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh, yes. And you have Malkuth, number 10. Man.
Yeah.
Where is Yesod mapped on the human body? Genitalia.
The root.
The point where
the base of the
soul
spine
infuses into flesh. See that? Next slide.
Boy, it's heat right here. Heat.
What is our religion?
Islam.
Islam.
Is that a new or the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What you're looking at right now is some of my notes from the old pre-Muhammadan Sufic order that I belong to.
Pre-Muhammadan.
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 They call the soul Al-Qurin. This is good.
Oh, it's crazy to call it. Oh, Shayut.
Yeah. So the Ruh, which is spirit, and the Hama, which is the clay. In other words, the incomprehensible and the crystallized are so different and unalike that the abyss was created to facilitate their mutual meeting place.
If you stare at the abyss, it'll stare back.
Brother, that is what created the soul plane, the abyss, or De'ath, as the Hebrews call it on the Tree of Life.
The ether.
The byproduct of this was and is what our prophet called the body beautiful. In the Arabic, we say al-mithal, or the reverse double of the soul body, also called al-Qurin. The substance of the soul body is called al-hayal. Our prophet taught us this in chapter 1. It says, what did he say? The essences of life are manifest. In other words, the pattern of life is manifest. Right? The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations and the all of love, right? It is a substance, but it is non-physical, although it carries some attributes of physical matter. Al-Mithal also refers to, listen close, the conscious rebuilding of the reverse configuration, or the training of the transference of consciousness to the soul body. This requires the development of conscious perception and control of soul substance. What do you think you did when you spoke to yourself in your head and then started trying to analyze what took place? See?
You got me doing it now. Because I'm saying all type of stuff in my head. Wow.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. It really is.
Brother, we could do a whole presentation on the Quran.
But let's do it.
Because that's what things get kind of
Cook it up. Cook it up and bring it to Let's Think podcast. You know, we got it.
Staying with Al Quran, right? You see my drawing on the right, right? So the human figure at the top is the physical individual. The one on the bottom is the Quran, the
shadow.
The shadow. You see on the figure, there's like these squares down the center of the body. They loosely correspond to what we would call the 7 chakras. We call them hot points, or points of high. Listen close. We have 5 senses, right? Physical senses.
Right.
These are points of higher perception.
Of what?
Higher perception. But they're fixed and movable.
Oh, wait. You trying to solve the fix?
So, follow me. When they're at rest or dormant, they're on that line in the center of the body. When they're active, count them. They're at the top of the head, that's 1. In the palms of the hands, that's 3.
The hand is not a mirror.
On the knees, that's 5. And on the
Wait
feet,
a minute.
that's 7. So what are you looking at? Why are they that? Oh, yeah. When you're making salat, brother.
Yeah, you see.
When you're making salat, that means that your points are coming into direct contact with the supersensory points of your own shadow double.
Bro. Yo, I supposed to cut the camera off right. Stop it all right then.
Yeah.
My God. Boy, that's heavy.
Hey, we started talking about the hot points. I said, "Oh, he going there now."
See, here's the thing. We learn about some of these things in other traditions. They never thought that we have it in Islamism too. See?
Man.
Last slide.
Man. You know what? Hold up. Y'all need to look at that slide for a second. Man.
All right. Conclusions that we can come to. And the living soul, meaning he is both inside and outside of his body.
Facts.
Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, memory, etc. are all soul functions and take place in the realm of soul, meaning not the realm of physicality.
Mm.
That means you have what? Presence already on the plane of soul. The fact you're thinking is proof.
It's that simple, like.
It is that simple.
If I could
Psychology is the field of operation where magic occurs.
the soul play.
Mm-hmm. That is the realm of possibilities, unmanifest possibilities that we can collapse in from a wave function, which is probability, into an actual event, which is physicality or crystallization. In other words, going from sulfur to salt.
The salt.
Right. See that? And was I talking magic or something spooky or religious, or was I talking quantum mechanics? Yes is the answer to both.
Yes. And we ain't talking about both and on that one.
Right. Yes. That's right. Soul function happens on here we talked about the subdivisions. On two general subdivisions. One, the personality. Follow me. In other words, and this is going to get to the question that you had asked earlier, brother. In other words, I'm having interactions with the outside world in this particular incarnation. That shapes my personality. Well, the personality generally does not survive past the physical death. That is the lower part of the plane of soul. The character, that which survives the incarnation and passes on to the next one. That's the soul purpose. See, when we're talking about Jesus come again, people are looking for the personality of a man 2,000 years ago. You're not going to see that. You have to look at the purpose of that soul incarnating to be able to recognize the king.
So you have to be initiated.
You have to look at purpose, not personality. And when you look at purpose, then you can easily, almost ridiculously easily see how Prophet Muhammad was the person whom Jesus was first reincarnated.
See, that's the sign. That's the science of understanding signs and symbols, because signs and symbols for the conscious mind.
There you go, for the conscious mind.
And men of understanding.
And men of understanding. There you go, brother.
God almighty.
The mind, since man is a living soul, right? Health to the body is like what? Honesty is to the soul. The mind can be trained and strengthened just like a physical muscle.
Give an example of doing that.
Ooh. Okay. Let's do it right now. I'm going to lead everybody in a quick meditation. And this is an actual meditation that we use in our medical Qigong practice to strengthen the mind. We call it weightlifting for the mind. Ready?
Yeah.
We're going to do a real simple one. Close your eyes. Imagine that there's a straw inside your body, and the straw is in the space just below your belly button. You're going to inhale. Don't do it yet. You're going to inhale. Let's say air. Let's just call it air.
Which way is the straw pointing?
Pointing up inside your body.
Okay.
Up toward your head.
Okay.
You're going to inhale air and fill your head. So you're going to inhale and fill your head with air, and then exhale back down the straw. You're going to do it 3 times. Go. Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, here's my question to all of you. Did you feel it in your head?
Yes.
Here's my next question. How in the world did you feel air in your head when the air only goes to your lungs?
I feel my
You
head.
can't deny what you felt. You felt it. And I didn't tell you what to feel ahead of time either, did I?
My head felt like it expanded, like it got wider, like a balloon.
So follow me. All I did was give a shape for your mind. Your mind then directed energy, and your body felt exactly where the energy went.
That's how you can heal yourself.
Bro, we're not done. Now, your solar plexus. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to inhale to your solar plexus through that straw and then exhale back down it. I want you to do it 5 times. Go. Did you do it the 5 times?
Yes, sir.
Did you feel it in the solar plexus?
Bro, and it never went through my head.
Here's the last part of the exercise. At the very base of the straw is a little ball right below your belly button. You're going to inhale and fill that ball and then exhale and let it empty. 7 times. Go.
That's crazy.
You felt it, didn't you?
That's crazy.
Brother, listen, we call this the 357 meditation. Bro, we field tested it at hospitals. You hear me? In a hospital waiting room one time, we had the nurse come out, take everybody's blood pressure. Then we did what we just did just now with everybody in the waiting room, and she took blood pressure again. Everybody's blood pressure dropped significantly. Everybody. Ain't that crazy, brother?
Bro, that is crazy. Because I got a different ethereal feeling like right now. Like
You feel different, don't you?
different.
Focus.
Everything that we just talked about up to this point, this exercise verifies that soul spirit function is connected to soul function connected to physicality. So you can work with one and it will affect the others.
Bro, and I feel like a tingling in my knees and my feet. Like,
correct. That means your blood pressure went down, brother.
That blood is starting to move.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to feel 100% of yourself.
Yeah.
bro, that's crazy, bro. Whoa.
Bro, it's called the 357 meditation for a reason.
Okay, shut up, man. Good, man. Good. I just caught that. I just caught that. I got changed for 15 cents. I just caught that. Nah. Dang, bro. Whoa, that was something else right there, bro.
Yes, sir.
357. Crazy.
See that? But so what does it tell you very simply?
Hey, East 49 say got him feeling like Billy G.
So right off top, what does this tell you? This exercise, the results of it, that the mind can direct energy in the body and it will affect the body physically, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got no lungs in your head.
I don't.
Seeing is believing, but feeling is the truth. See, you felt it. See that?
And every area expanded and contracted. I felt it.
It's physical.
And it didn't go nowhere else. It was concentrated right there.
It went right where your mind told it to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of healing.
Brother, let's take it a step further. If I could do it, that's the power. Now remember, spirit is related to what characteristic? Non-locality. Consciousness is not bound by space or time.
None.
So if I can make it strong enough and solid enough to where I could do that easily in my body, that means I could do it to your body too. And I don't got to be next to you to do it. We're going to end on that one, Mo.
Yes. Now, I'm going to give everybody, I'm going to stop sharing. This is what I'm going to do. And you know we don't normally do this. I need y'all to, send us some super chats. Listen, we'll give about, what time is it? We give about 10 minutes for you, if you want to, call in. You know what I mean? You want to, put the link. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you want to come up right quick, give your thoughts, ask a question.
Yes.
Feel free. And yeah, let's do that right quick. Because I want to always, give something for the listening audience. And I think this is one of the best things, so you can start interacting with the guests and ask your questions personally. So here goes the link. It's in the chat right now. If you desire to come on, ask a question, give your thoughts, give a shout out, support, however you want to do it. The link is in the chat. Give you a couple minutes to add on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Mo, just to count back on what you were saying as far as like the healing touch and all that.
Yes.
I got clients that be saying that stuff too, man.
Yes.
They be calling me a voodoo magician.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Bro,
yes.
Bro, the brother come in here and stop. the brother came in here. The brother come in here and touch people and stop migraines.
Straight like that, brother. Yes.
Yeah. Stuff they can't get away from for days and weeks. They come in here and touch them and it's all gone.
I say it's just like a voodoo magician.
Right.
I say when I start selling people on illusions.
Hey, yo, guess what? That voodoo ain't illusions though.
No, it's not. It's not.
But guess what though, bro? Once you get a heightened knowledge or advanced knowledge of that endocrine system, you can do a lot of things, bro.
Brother. Mm-hmm. Now, hold on. Just think about what we just did just now. Very simple but very powerful method of training the mind like you train a bicep, right? And you just felt the effects and took note of the effects. That you already said it, brother Sheik 7. If I could direct energy to my head or to my solar plexus or right down below my navel, I could direct it anywhere in my body.
Right.
It's just a matter of practice at that point.
Got brother Tariq coming up. Islam
Morris. How's everybody?
All is truly well. How about yourself, brother?
I can't complain. I enjoyed the lecture. Hey, yeah, I've been going back through a lot of them. I log them. Matter of fact, I store them on the brother Sharif. So I always make sure I go back through them and miss because you always go. You never catch everything, but that's why they're there, so you can go back and refresh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just wanted to say greetings from Star Sapphire Lodge in La Cunada, California.
Salutations on all 3 points of the triangle, dear brother.
All right. Yeah. I saw. I also just wanted to mention to Brother Sharif. You know, I'll be checking out a lot of your clips on your kung fu class.
Thank you,
I'm a practitioner myself of Kempo
Beautiful.
karate and Tanuka's root jiu-jitsu.
Professor Moses Powell.
Dr. Moses Powell. It's Islam. My instructor is Brother Urban Muhammad. I think he should have. I think he has a school now in Brooklyn.
He's in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Because we had a his initial dojo was in Long Beach.
Beautiful.
On 7th Street.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it got burned down during the little civil unrest. So
yes.
Yeah, my intent is to get to Brooklyn and get on the map with Brother Urban, but I can't go right now because I'm out of shape, and you know he not gonna spare you.
He's not gonna spare you.
No.
See, the dojos, especially as related to our people back in those days, brother. If it wasn't blood on the floor, it wasn't a real dojo.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I broke my arm one morning. My left radius bone one morning, early in the morning, 6:30 training. Yeah, I was also fortunate enough to have Doc promote me to 2 belts when before he transitioned.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. So I got two certificates with Doc name on it.
See that's history right there. That's a
yes,
blessing.
Sir.
Because that guy was a legend. You know, for those who are not familiar with Dr. Moses Powell, Dr. Moses Powell simultaneously, I'm just going to leave it at this, simultaneously was one of the top FOI security men under Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And did some work for some 3-letter agencies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
saw in your bio too, brother, that you mentioned you was born in Long Beach?
I was born in Long Beach, brother.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Long Beach. Grew up. I born in Long Beach. Came to live with my father in New York at age 4. Came back to LA. I was on 142nd Street off Century Boulevard.
Yeah.
And went to university. I went to Muhammad's University of Islam for 1st and 2nd grade. Mos 27.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, I came up in and out of the nation down in Long Beach. About probably 15 years ago. Okay. Started getting into studying, you know, what the Moors was and Moor science. Never became a member of a temple. But I know I'm a Moor through history and documentation. You know,
I give you some history. I give you some history at the time when I was there, going to school. You know, Muhammad's University of Islam for 1st and 2nd grade. The head minister of Mos 27 was a brother by the name of Hassan Abdul Kareem. Right? Mm-hmm. He was named Abdul. Sheikh Seven's going. He was named Abdul Kareem by his mother. Mm-hmm. They were from Connecticut. She named him Abdul Kareem because his name was Hassan Abdul Kareem or Abdul Kareem Bey. They were members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And they got flipped by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I first heard of Prophet Noble Drew Ali when we used to do prayer in close quarter drill before we went to class every morning. Wow.
What was that? What would they say at that time, Sharif?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What would they say at that time?
Brother, I can't remember. I remember, but that's why I first heard Prophet Noble Drew Ali's name. They would refer, there we go. It just came to me. They would refer to Prophet Noble Drew Ali as the forerunner of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, just like we refer to Marcus God. All right.
Yeah. Makes sense. Because Elijah Muhammad did say he came to fulfill or finish the work.
That's what he said, brother.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what one does after the forerunner.
There you go. You continue their work in the way that you see.
Yeah. I've been quite impressed, I must say, with you guys' presentations, because you giving out so much information that's been held under the radar for centuries.
Yes, sir.
And so I can only figure that that you've been given authorization to pass out the pearls before the swine, so to speak.
Well, it's not the swine in this sense, because Prophet Drew Ali said it this way. Taught us in our literature. It says, "My sheep hear my voice, and a stranger will not follow." So the fact that you're picking them up, see, swine can't pick pearls up.
That's a fact. I had a quick question about a book.
Sure.
I haven't really got a chance to get into it, but I picked it up off Brother Panic. I don't know if you're familiar with, I'm sure you're familiar with Brother Panic. So I ain't gonna even go there. But yeah, he mentioned a book one time when he was giving his book list out called Cyclomancy.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Okay, what's your thoughts on Cyclomancy?
I think it's a good book. There's a lot of great information out there. A lot. Now, here I'll give the best analogy, or a good analogy. You're a martial arts practitioner.
Yes.
Right? So, what happens if, okay, you study 2 months in this school, and then 2 weeks in that school, and then 4 weeks in this school, and then 1 year in the other school, you're just a professional beginner.
Yeah, that's all you are.
Now, there's nothing wrong with cross-training. Cross-training is great, but you need something that you know so well you could use it as the point of reference.
Oh, okay.
Get my point?
Yes.
So, like you being a Kempo practitioner, you study other things, but you're going to view it through the lens of your specialty.
Which be Kempo Karate.
There you go. You see my point? So, psychology.
Like mine is boxing. And
yes.
And my jab is like.
There you go. See what I'm saying? So, there's a beauty in specialization. Because what do we learn? Prophet Drew Ali taught us, every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. So specializing in one thing will give you insight into everything.
Becoming a master of something and not a jack of all.
There you go. Prophet Drew Ali taught us what? He said, the wise man benefits from his first effort, and the fool is always beginning.
Yeah, that's another thing that I noticed about a lot of your presentations is how you tie back the Circle 7 Quran,
yes, sir,
into the esoteric teachings of all ages.
Yes, sir.
And when I sit through, I had to go and get mine and start going through it. When you was doing it, I was like, wow. I never would have made the connection, like, ever.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, that's amazing, brother. Because like I say, there's no way I ever would have put those 2 and 2 or 1 times 1 times 1 together to make the 1.
Isn't that something?
Islam, Louis Anael-Bey, Islam.
Who's that?
Brother Louis Anael-Bey, Islam.
Oh, Brother El Serrano-Bey. That's my brother.
Yeah.
That's right. Islam's the brother.
My brother.
So, Brother Tariq, to that point, first and foremost, I have to say, praise Allah. I can't take the credit for that. I had good teachers, and I strived to be a good student. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that my perspective has some use for others. You see? So, now I'll tell you in large part where it came from. Prophet Noble Drew Ali says in the Moorish Guy newspaper that the release of this Quran contains the secrets of all ages. So either he was right or he was wrong. So as a believer and a member of the organization, I'm like, okay, yes, he's right. But as a researcher, I'm like, let's see.
Yeah.
You get it? I'm
Yeah.
like, let's see. So what happens is that over the years and whatever, I'm like, okay, well, I belong to some of these other secret organizations. Let's see. Right? And not only am I not disappointed, but I'm actually amazed. Like, whoa. You know, like, whoa, like, not, and this is what I mean by amazed. Because the most profound things are told in the most simplest words.
Oh my God.
See? And that's in large part what makes them so secret, because the mundane and the profane look right over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Never
sir.
see it.
Yes, sir.
Because it sounds too simple.
And you know what, brother? I have to say, man, I still fall victim to that sometimes.
We all do. I do.
You know
I'm always looking for the complicated thing. It's got to have a whole bunch of moving parts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But but see, it's another thing I think is it is our perception of moving from something that was so shallow to something that's so intriguing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? More so that us not necessarily grasping the simple thing. It's just that, you know, we've experienced so many things on a minuscule level,
right? To
the point where it's like, brother, you know, like I need something else. I need some substance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I need some depth, but you know, like you said, you know, one who, you know, you got to go to your lowest depths to reach the
highest heights.
So, you know, sometimes you got to go to you got to grasp the most simplistic things.
Bro, to jump high, you got to squat low.
Think about it. And I mean, that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
But brother Tariq, I want to get somebody else on.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
I appreciate y'all, brother. Islam. And I'll contact you through your Instagram, brother Sharif.
Please do, brother.
Yes, sir. Islam.
All right, Islam, brothers. I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Love. Love.
That was dope.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? Come on up here, Anael-Bey. Come on up here. Come on up here. I know, brother Anael-Bey. Come on up here. Come on up here, brother. Come on up here. Yes, sir. Islam God, man. Come on up here.
But yeah, this was, you know, what again, you know, I can put together the presentation, I can put together the research, I can give my portion of the understanding. But this is a group effort. You all are asking certain questions and then making certain statements that are cracking me open and getting certain things out of me that I probably wouldn't have said.
Praise Allah.
That's the truth.
But see, that shows us the benefit of the question and answers of the one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. It also shows this, right? Like what we say in Act 5 of the Additional Laws. Every member exercises 5 senses who's able to do so. Because we don't know which one Allah is going to speak through.
That's correct.
See what I'm saying? We don't know.
Brother Anael-Bey said, let him get in the house. I'm gonna give you a second. I'm gonna give you a second to get there. We might be able to stay on just for a second to let you get there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, brother, can I ask you a couple questions?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And these are some questions that, you know, I noticed this, brother. You know, I noticed that this podcast gets watched and people fling things around. They fling things around and make it the topic of their discussions, and that's great.
That's okay.
That's matter of fact, that's wonderful.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's opening the lane for dialogue.
That's right.
Different perspectives and people to investigate.
That's right.
However, brother, I want to ask this question.
Yes.
The Prophet Noble Drew Ali gives us and we use this.
Yes.
On a regular basis. Probably one of the most common phrases that us as Moorish American Muslims say.
Yes, sir.
Moors need to learn to
love
instead of
hate.
Could you give me a definition of love? And I know love is incomprehensible.
Right. Right. Just like Allah is one.
Yes.
And we say Allah is love.
Yes.
So in the basic mathematical formula for logic, if A equals B and B equals C, then A also equals C, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we say A is Allah and B is one,
mm-hmm.
and C is love.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Or if A is one and Allah and B is Allah and C is one, Allah one equals Allah. Allah equals love.
And love.
One equals love.
Mm.
So love and unity from a mathematical perspective are synonymous.
Mm.
So the seeking of the unity is how we show love.
I ain't never heard it expressed like that, bro.
Brother, I can't take credit. You asked the question and it literally just popped in my head as you asked.
I have never heard it expressed like that. That was, whoa. Hey, man, you need to write that down.
Yes,
I think you need to write that down. That right there was, oh, man. And you know what I take it as?
Yes, sir.
Hate is something that the Lord self-breeds.
Sure is. Sure is. Oh.
Love is something that the higher self is.
You need to write that down. Woo! Woo! That's real, bro. Now listen, and then another thing I want to say too, right? Hate is not the opposite of love.
It is not. It is not.
Hate is not that. Now let's talk about, again, another secret teaching that our prophet reveals to us in the open, right? Truth and falsehood. We're trained to think that they're both opposites, but if they're opposites, that makes them mutually exclusive. That means truth would depend on falsehood for its definition and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
That means truth wouldn't be one.
Ha! But to be in the opposite but to be in reverse doesn't mean to be opposite.
Right. Because what are we talking about? Follow me close. See, opposites would be like heads and tails on a penny.
Mm-hmm.
That means they're mutually exclusive. There can be no heads without tails.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
So this is where we get it messed up. We hear those words and then we're still thinking with the European psychology. And we say, well, man, is truth and falsehood strangely mixed? And we use that as an example for our foolery. See, that's wrong thinking. Because that now we're saying that truth and falsehood are mutually exclusive and opposites, and you can't have one without the other. No. See, now our prophet teaches on that. He says he did not give good without its own admixture of evil, but he also gave us the means of throwing the evil off of the good. How about that? That means they can't be opposites, people.
Brother Louis Anael-Bey, I just posted the link in the chat again.
You know what I'm saying? That means, follow me. Truth is that
Right
which
here.
seems, or falsehood is that which seems to be. So they're not opposites. Falsehood is a projection from truth.
I'm gonna pin the link at the top.
Okay.
Break that down.
So the hand can create a shadow.
Mhm.
The shadow is a projection coming from the hand. The shadow cannot exist without my hand, but the hand can definitely exist without the shadow.
True.
There you go. That is the proper way to think about it. Our prophet gives us this in chapter 7. They're not opposites. Falsehood is a projection from truth.
Go to brother.
That's what it is.
Islam.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. How's the brother?
All is truly well, brother. Just getting in from work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, yes, sir. The Knicks won today, so I'm happy. Yeah.
I know a couple of people that were stressing about that. So I guess everything all is well.
Yes,
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Then drop a jewel on us, brother Sharif Anael-Bey, because one thing I see about you, brother, you always on the front line on social media. You all, and I'm pretty sure you're on the front line in your regular life. So, because I don't think you would be as adamant as you truly are if you weren't.
Right.
And I just want the people to know who you are, brother, man. Talk to the people,
please.
Praise Allah. I'm just your brother first and foremost. Before anything else, I am my brother. That's one of the things that I learned in being a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America is that when you first join and you get your membership, you take your card out. That's one of the first things that you get is the term brother, sister. Mm-hmm. So, I think that, when we get other titles in our journeys in life, we don't want to forget that first and foremost is the brother and the sister. When we think about the divine warning that the prophet talks to us about, and he talks about the covenant. If we violate the covenant, we think about what that covenant is. We think about the holy covenant of the Asiatic nation.
That's right.
And if that brother's in adversity, assist him. If that sister's in trouble, forsake her not.
Yes, sir.
But I'm just a brother, trying to do my best what Allah has given to me, and learn some things along the way if I can help my brothers and sisters. One of the things I would love to say is the Moorish Science Temple of America is not on social media.
Straight like that.
It is not on social media.
Straight like that.
Yeah.
It's not on Facebook. It's not on YouTube. It's not on your Zoom calls. It's not. You're not going to find it because you heard about it. If you want information about the Moorish Science of America, then go to the Moorish Science of America.
Can I add to that, dear brother? First of all, that was perfectly said. Mm-hmm. What people are seeing on social media will, at least by the grace of Allah and the mercy of Allah through us, is the result of being in the movement.
Yes, sir.
They're seeing a result of being in the movement. There's a difference.
And
right? Like brother Sheikh 7, when you're in the ring, people are seeing the result of your training.
Right. Right.
They're seeing the result of the training. They're not seeing the training, they're seeing the results of it.
Just like when you look in the mirror, you're seeing the results of how you treat yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you're only seeing a reflection.
That's right.
It's like I heard you say, Brother Sharif Anael-Bey, neither one of us have actually seen ourselves.
We've never seen our own face with our own eyes, ever in life.
We've only seen it.
Never happened.
So when it's like You know, when you're online, you're seeing a reflection of what could be.
Come on, brother.
Versus what is.
And you know what, dear brother? That's what we want to display to the best of our ability. Is that we want to display, we want to show, you know what, brother? Listen, we all got a lower self.
Yes, sir.
We all got our vices. We all got our issues.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But what we want to do as members, and we're no different from anybody else.
No.
Yes, sir.
We just want to demonstrate that these teachings work.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? We want to demonstrate that these teachings work.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. You know, like I mean, I got that side of me, man, you know, that you know, you tickle the wrong demon, then I'm quoting Big L lyrics. You know, you better flee hot or your head gets flown 3 blocks. You know what I'm saying? I got that part of me, but we have to demonstrate at all costs that these teachings work.
Yes, sir.
You know? Yeah.
And I have to say, man, all 3 of you brothers are an inspiration to me.
Praise the Lord. And you were inspiration, brother.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I watch you brothers, especially. I watch all you brothers, all 3 of you brothers. I love the way Brother Louis Anael-Bey communicates online. You know what I'm saying?
Brother, I bear witness, and this is me being 100% transparent in the public. I bear witness. I've watched this brother develop into a superb researcher. Research has less to do with the accumulation of information and more to do with methodology. I've watched it develop with that.
And narrative.
Yes.
Narrative.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, sir. You know, and I've watched my brother McGriffell grow into a great businessman, which he's always been, because he's always been a systematic and very strategic thinker.
Powerful.
So I already knew he was going to be great in business. He just had to do what he had to do, and he did that. He's doing that. He's doing great. Brother, I've watched you, Brother Sharif, man. I've watched you climb so many heights, man. Like, I've seen you go from this point to that point to that point to that
Yeah, brother,
point.
my fez hides all my lumps. I got lumps, bro.
Yeah. But one thing I can say is, man, you know, one thing, you know, and I you know, I'm a lover of and this goes for, and I don't care who hears this, it doesn't even matter. I love Elijah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no doubt.
I love his work. I love what he's done for the Asiatic community. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, and like you said, we all have vices, we all have our faults. So, but Islam teaches us to look at the best part.
Come on, brother.
Positive. So, you know, one thing that he taught Brother Minister Farrakhan, that Brother Minister Farrakhan teaches on a regular basis. It's also in the Quran. You can't say that you're believing unless you want for your brother what you want for yourself.
Facts.
Absolutely.
So,
come on, brother.
I truly want the best for my people. You know what I'm saying? And when I say my brothers, I mean my sisters too. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that is the portion of the love thought that's missing. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to, you know, everyone is not in competition to do righteousness.
Right.
But in competition to strive against. You see what I'm saying?
But you know, let me tell you, you said something deep right there. Yo, listen, if it's going to be an arms race, let's challenge each other on putting these prophets' teachings on the ground and making them real. If it's going to be a competition, let it be a competition in uplifting.
But here go the thing. When it's a competition in upliftment and a competition in righteousness, this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't a competition at all, because I'm going to be helping you and you're going to be helping me.
Steel sharpens steel.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's just we want to do right together so much that I'm going to try to outdo you.
But I'm going to do it in a way where I'm pushing you. Like, yo, bro, exactly. I'm here. Come upstairs.
Exactly.
Yo, come upstairs, bro.
Yeah, let's get it.
I'm up here and you down there, you stay down there. Nah,
that ain't how it works.
no, it's not how it works. It's no, I'm upstairs or you're upstairs. I'm gonna be like, yo, pull me up, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And anybody ever been in the treehouse and tried to climb up and had to pull your homeboy up in the treehouse because he couldn't make the third step? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Wow.
Tough.
Right.
Right.
Go ahead, Sharif Anael-Bey. You had something. You were gonna say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think that's the difference between competition and what we refer to as healthy competition.
Healthy,
right?
Yes,
We have criticism, and then we have constructive criticism. And so they both might look the same on the surface, but the intention is different.
Come on,
and
brother.
so I think that when you think about the sincerity, being sincere, in my opinion, is one of the best and most important qualities that you can have.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Mm-hmm. No man, no, listen, we're all men here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all men. And as men, none of us we've been in whatever capacity. When sincerity is not on board, we can't work together.
Right.
The facts.
But the moment we see sincerity, the door is open.
Mm-hmm. Fly open. Because now we can trust.
Come on,
exactly.
Bro. Come on.
And one thing, sincerity works hand in hand. And I would say sincerity, and this is my words, sincerity is married to obedience.
Mm-hmm.
It sure is.
Sincerity is married to obedience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, and obedience is married to submission.
Yo, bro, I promise you, and I think Brother Sharif Anael-Bey was grinning because he was thinking the same thing because I was gonna say the exact same word. We have to submit, and what are we submitting to? We're submitting to, among other things, we're submitting to something bigger than us. The mission, like in the military, they said nothing's above the mission. In the streets back in the day, we say nothing's above the program. Nothing.
It's already in us.
There you go.
It's already in us. And you think about it, right? For example, chapter number 45, right? The divine origin of the Asiatic
nations.
Right? Prophet Nabudra Ali, he gives a list of the different nations in the world, right? That who are part of or make up the Asiatic nations. And at the end, he says, all of these are Muslims, right? And so in my humble opinion, and I'm sure members from the Nation of Islam, or even, some of our Sunni Muslim brothers and sisters feel the same way, that Allah has created man in the nature of being a Muslim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it is already in us. And when you think about, a lot of brothers and sisters who are looking and searching, actively searching to be disciplined, usually become a part of street organizations. Because they want to be a part of something that is bigger than them. And so it's as the earlier conversation was about hate kind of being a distorted form of love. It's a distorted version of love. And so this is what we see as a distortion of that sincere intent.
Come on, brother.
Distortion of the mercy ego, right? Distortion of
It's a discordant tone.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when we look at the word Muslim, right?
Yes.
And we know that Muslim means one of peace.
Yes.
Though submission is not what a Muslim is, it's what a Muslim does.
Mm-hmm.
But however, peace, which is the nature that man was created in, which is
correct. Correct.
Think about it. We are all trying to return. Right? Yes. We're all trying to return unto to ascend into the highest planes of spirit life with our Father God Allah while we are in the flesh. Not after we leave, but while we're in the flesh, right? So actually we're trying to seek divine proximity.
Woo. That's right. That's right.
Allah in this flesh. However, the submission is the way we gain the peace. The peace is the heaven. The peace is the abode. The house is the abode. So the abode is the destination.
There you go.
And submission is the direction.
Is the direction. Come on, brother.
When we look at it from that particular perspective, that gives us the opportunity to look out. First, to look at ourselves, to ask ourselves, okay, how am I living?
Right.
An honest assessment of yourself. How am I living? And this is not for the world to know, though, that when you don't notice when you don't know when you don't see yourself, others notice you best. I mean,
right.
But this is a question for you to ask yourself because you want to get to know yourself. You want to be honest with yourself.
That's right. So, you said something deep, brother. I gotta run, but real quick, I just want to say this and I'm gonna jump off. Y'all please stay on and keep building because this is beautiful. But listen, real quick, I just learned something when Brother Sharif Anael-Bey was just speaking, and it just hit me, right? When he was talking about chapter 45, Divine Origin of the Asiatic Nations, right? And I tied it with something that Sheikh Seven you just touched on, but you spoke on it briefly or in more detail earlier in this program.
Yes, sir.
Right? Brother Sharif Anael-Bey mentioned all of these are Muslims. And earlier we were talking about the root word that Muslim comes from, one seeking peace, and peace is unity, oneness, and wholeness, right?
Every nation.
All right, I ain't got to say nothing else. You just called it, right? The last instruction in chapter 46. All nations of the earth are doing what?
Seeking peace.
Straight like that, bro. On that note, I'm going to say peace to you.
We're all cut out on them because I know we all got to go. But Brother Sharif Anael-Bey, it's always good to have you on. Brother man, always come on. You're always welcome on. Matter of fact, I'm going to be looking for you to add you on because we're going to make this part of the show, this segment of the show, a part of every show. When we bring people up, they can ask their questions, they can dialogue, we can dialogue, we get to better know each other, we get to better, dialogue with each other and communicate and then build that bridge of love, those bonds of affection that we need to build. You see what I'm saying? Because, Allah's blessed man to think of this beautiful technology right here. Even though it can be used for very diabolical and very deprecating things, but at the end of the day, when we have these tools for the workshop of the mind, when we use to make our characters symmetrical, we know how to use these particular things for the good and for the betterment of humanity. So, it's great to see you. It's great to have you on. And another thing I would love to say, it's great to have you on because in so many ways, man, and me and you know what's going on, and I don't even need to broadcast that. But at the end of the day, brother, man, it's so great to have this ability to speak to you and have a brotherhood where in some instances this would not be. You see what I'm saying? And I appreciate you. It's honest and gratitude for your support. As you always have been, you've always dealt with me in the best of ways. So I give honor unto you, and this brother is very influential on social media, man. I enjoy your Facebook. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy what you put. It's time for healing. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag it's time for healing. Everybody hashtag it's time for healing. And it really is a time for healing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because we suffer from so many atrocities, so many scars, so many, battles and wounds, psychologically, emotionally, physically, and it's time for us to really heal. And the only way we can heal is heal together. Yes, and I'm willing, as I've always been, and I will continue to be, willing to be a face and a promoter of unity amongst all of those who would perceive themselves to be separate. Because we're not separate. We're the same people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We're the same people. We should have the same, the same ultimate objectives. And I'm going to tell you one thing, that one enemy, that great enemy that is within us is seeking to do the same thing to me that it's seeking to do to you.
Absolutely.
And to devour whom it may. Yep. So I think that we should all have the same purpose, just as this same lower self, this same devil, this same Satan that exists within us has the same objective. I think us as men, spirit men, one with Allah, should have the same objective. Is strive to constantly, you know, attain and ascend to that highest plane of spirit life with our Father God, Allah. But that's truly what the Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple of America says. The knowledge of thyself and he who created thee, what's better is there to know.
Absolutely.
So I thank you, brother man, for your support, and keep coming back, brother man. Hey man, we need the energy. We need
Praise
the
the
energy.
Lord. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. My brother, of course, it is always a pleasure to converse with you, to speak to you, to support, brothers and sisters. As you said earlier, in Islam, we say we want for our brothers what we want for ourselves,
Yes, sir.
right? And so, even with just different aspects of inspiration, inspiring one another to do the right thing, to continue to grow. Prophet Nubudrali, he teaches us in chapter 1, about that we have the potencies of Allah within us, and as the bud unfolds to show the flower, so does the seed of Allah that is within man. And so, my only thing with more, especially on social media and things of that nature, is the bullying.
Mm-hmm.
It's the when I first joined the Moorish Science of America, we hear things about the Moorish Science of America Incorporated. We hear things about Brother Jones Bey, Brother Lovell, Brother Kirkman Bey. And, just like everybody else, I didn't know much about the history or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with in the organization. And then it would, realizing that I'm a part of the very organization that all of these different discrepancies and false information, unfortunately, had been tossed around. And, I started to look around and I'm seeing brothers and sisters who are almost ashamed of being members of our organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or feeling like, they're being beat up on or bullied on by brothers and sisters on social media. So I just, I got tired of it. That's basically where all of this came from. With certain things online and different things like that. I'm just not for it at all. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm sure we have a reputation of how we do things in, New York. I'm sure every state in the United States of America and every certain neighborhood has a certain way of handling different things. And there's just certain things you're not going to put up with.
Yes,
and but the thing is, first and foremost, is that you are speaking in truth. And Prophet Nubudrali, he talks about the insincere, right? He talks about how they speak in the semblance of truth, right? Because it sounds like truth to those who, might not have certain information. And so that's just really, really, wouldn't really inspire me to go on this. What's it been like 5-6 years?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call it, brother.
For lack of better words, tangent.
Yeah.
And let's give it another word. Demonstration.
Demonstration. Praise Allah. But I love all my brothers and sisters. I don't care where you see it, where you find yourself, what group you think you're a part of, what religion you are, whether you call yourself a Moor or not. I still love all my brothers and sisters, and I will never, in any of my demonstrations, give a demonstration of hate to my brothers and sisters. That does not mean that. So if you're not a member of a certain organization, that don't mean that I hate you. It's just, it is what it is. If you're throwing stones and I say what the truth is about the stone that you threw, doesn't mean that I hate you. And so that's just my take. I don't want to take up too much time. The Moors, had a long day.
Yes, sir.
And all of those who are online, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share, let the Moors know that you're in here. If you can, please donate to the channel. Support as much as you can. Hit the super chat if you want your question or your comment to be recognized, because there is a possibility that it may go unnoticed. So you want to hit that super chat. Yes. I myself, I tried to hit the super chat earlier today. It kept saying I was having an error in the super chat, so it wasn't allowing me to do it today. But
no problem. No problem, brother.
Support the channel.
Yes, sir. Brother Sharif Anael-Bey, like I said, I'd love to have you back on. You know, love to have you back on. Maybe you'll come and give a presentation. Maybe you'll come. You may one day have something to, you know, present to the channel, and you know you're more than welcome. I want to really get. I'm gonna tell you who I want to get. I want to get brother Chris. What's his name? Stancilel.
Yes, brother Simon Stencil, branch temple number 34.
Yes, sir. I
Second
want
Grand
to
Street.
get him on.
Yeah.
Along with you two. It's not Raphael Moore. Honest and gratitude for the $5 super chat, bro. I really appreciate you, brother. Really appreciate it. Honest and gratitude. Praise Allah.
Hey,
yes, sir.
it's a road them on that in the group chat.
You talking about Raphael?
Yes. How many of it?
That's my brother, bro. He's the funniest boy in the movement, bro. He is listen, he is one of the most humorous boys in the movement, bro. If not the most humorous. Bro, I'm talking about, bro, when I need a laugh, I actually go to his page, bro. Because he's going to say something that's going to just, bro, like, man, yo, he bring a smile to my, and that's a blessing, you know. When you do smile, it's a blessing, and when you receive smiles, it's a blessing. So, hey, man, like, yo, bro, he's like a blessing, bro. And he's always been, like I say, bro, I've been blessed to be in contact with some great brothers, man, like yourselves. And this dude is crazy. Yeah, but look here, man. We finna get up off of here, Mo. It's love, Mo.
It's love.
Peace and love, brother. And it's a pleasure to meet you, brother. I'm not sure what your name is.
Jarvis.
McGriff
Say it again.
Jarvis McGriff L.
McGriff L. Pleasure to meet you, my brother.
Assistant grade, he's assistant grade seat of the temple here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So
praise the Lord.
He's man. Listen, bro, we be working. You know what I'm saying? We be working. I be scrubbing his knuckles, and he be scrubbing mine.
That's right.
Yes, sir. We be working. And for all of them, and before you get off, before we both get off, for all of those who are listening, I hope somebody from Charlotte is listening. Get ready. The new building is finna be open. You've been asking, where the temple at, Sheik? Where the temple at? We had a discrepancy. We had a little, we had to take a little hiatus. But we're back. We're back. Inshallah, the doors will be open. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, because we probably will, more than likely, I can pretty much guarantee you that meetings will be recorded. Some meetings will be recorded in place right here on YouTube, just for the people to see on Let's Think Podcast.
That's all.
I love y'all, brothers.
Love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.